Okay, last week we learned some pinyin, and through pinyin we learned some new words. Do you still remember them? Before the class, we can review some of them. Maybe it will be helpful in today's class. Do you remember these words? Like the first one, 睡觉, 睡觉. Now we learned in last class, it means to sleep, right? And 牛奶, 牛奶, it means milk. 足球, 足球, football. Now, 球, 球 means something like a ball, 球, 足球, and basketball we can also call it 篮球, basketball, 篮球. This one, 讨论, 讨论, it's to discuss. These are some words we learned in last class. And these 6 words, do you still remember them? Before class, you can read them, and maybe we will use them in today's class. This one, 钟, 钟, it's clock. 船, 船, the boat. 床, the bed. 这个是 what's this? 鸡蛋, right? 鸡蛋. It means egg, egg, 鸡蛋. And this one, 司机, 司机. 司机, it means the driver, 司机. 这是熊猫, 熊猫, the panda, 熊猫. These words we learned in last class. Okay, I think everyone can hear my voice, right? Okay. This is 司机. 司机 means to 司机 it means driver. Driver. He is a driver. 他是司机. Do you know how to say drive? The verb to drive. Drive the car. We can say very good. 开车, 开车, 司机开车, 对吧？司机开车。这个是熊猫熊猫。熊猫 is a very lovely animal in China. Have you seen that before in your country? 熊猫。还没。So welcome to China to see it. And here are 3 words. There is a neutral tongue in these words, like mama, 爸爸, 奶奶, right? How to say grandfather? 奶奶 means grandmother, right? So how to say grandfather? 奶奶, do you know? Yes, 爷爷. See, 爷爷, the second pinyin is also a neutral tongue. 爷爷, 妈妈, 爸爸, 爷爷.那么今天我们学习第3课啊。好 ，Can you see the PowerPoint？ 第3课啊，你叫什么名字啊？第3课。Okay, let's start. In the first 2 lessons, we mainly studied Chinese pinyin. Through pinyin, we learned some simple words and sentences. Pinyin is our tool for understanding Chinese. With its help, we can quickly read new words and type Chinese characters. Starting today, the focus of our study will be on new words and grammars. I hope you can listen, speak, and ask more in your studies. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. So today we will review what we learned last time and then learn some new pinyin knowledge. The focus today is to learn new words and grammar. First, let's review lesson 2. These are 声母 initials we learned last time. Please first read it along with the recording. Okay, let's read. 我们读一读。
声母2
Initials 2 Zh Ch Sh R Z C S.
Okay, so in the 声母 we learned these 3. Ji, Qi, Xi, their sound are very similar, but there are some little differences between them. Okay, Ji, Qi, and Xi are known as coronal. The surface of the tongue touches the hard palate when pronouncing Ji and Qi, while Qi brings out a strong L flow. Ji doesn't. When Xi is pronounced, the surface of tongue approaches the hard palate without reaching it, leaving a gap in between. It's Xi, Xi. So here, let's learn some new sentences through which you can carefully distinguish the difference between Ji, Qi, Xi. Okay, let's read the first sentence. 好久不见，好久不见。 Here, 久见 they are headed by 机好久不见 it means long time no see 好久不见 This one 请问一下请问一下 it means may I ask So sometimes if you want to ask some questions to another one, you can say 请问一下请问一下 Next 休息休息休息休息休息休息 it means to have a rest 休息休息休 and 息 they both headed by 息休息休息 Okay, let's look at this three. 思 they also one of the difficulties for you in learning. 思 and 思 are dentals. When pronouncing 滋 and 吃, the front part of the tongue tip touches the inner surface of the upper teeth and then immediately pass with it, forming a gap in between. When pronouncing 思, the front part of the tongue tip stays away from the inner surface of the upper teeth all along, leaving a gap for the air flow to get through. 思 Okay, that is 滋 and 思 We also learned their pronunciation through a few sentences. Let's look at this one. 早上好早上好 Here, 早 is headed by 滋早上好 It means good morning 早上好 This one. 再来一次再来一次 Once again. 再来一次This one. 放松一下放松一下松 is headed by 思放松一下 to have a relax to relax 放松一下 Okay, these are 声母 we learned in last class. Let's look at this. They are 韵母 we learned. And we also learned some 韵母 in last class. Please read it. Follow the recording.
韵母2
Finals 2 O U An Yan Wan Yuan N Yin Wen Yun Ang Yang Wang Ying Weng Ong Yung
Okay, now let's do some practice. Let's do a practice. Please write down the finals you hear. I will read a pinyin and you can write the 韵母 finals. You can type it in the chat box. Because maybe you cannot type yu, you can use v instead of yu. Okay, let's have a try. The first one. 拍 Yes, you can just type 韵母. It should be this 拍 Okay, next. 嘟 See, it's the and do. 韵母 should be, oh, it's o or u. Which one? If it's o, it should be do, do. But I read do, do. Yes, so the answer should be this one. Okay, next. 沾，沾，沾，沾。Very good， 很好啊，应该是安啊，沾 ，not on. If it's on, I will read 张，张。This is on. 安 should be 沾，沾。Okay, next one. 歇，歇，歇。Yes, very good. It's 耶 right? Do you remember we learned one word with this pinyin? It's 谢谢 right? 谢谢啊，歇，歇。Okay, next. 灰，灰，灰，灰。What's this? 灰，灰。Yes, very good. It should be 微，微啊。I said when we write, we should type u and e. Is omitted. So 灰，灰，微啊。is omitted. Okay, next one. 秋，秋，秋。Very good. 秋it should be this one. When in writing, we should write e and u. All is omitted. All is omitted. 秋. Okay, next one. 怒，怒，怒。Very good. 怒 it's very easy. Okay, next. 撩，撩，撩 good. It should be 腰 right? 腰，撩。Okay, next one. 汤，汤，汤。Good. The answer should be on. Not. I saw someone type should be 汤，汤。But I read 汤，汤。Okay, next one. 扔，扔，扔。Oh, there are two answers. Once again, 再来一次，再来一次。扔，扔。Three answers. Once again. 扔，扔。The answer should be this one. 扔，扔。Okay, next one. 租，租，租，租，租。Which one? It should be this. 租 it's not o. If it's o, I will read 周，周。It's o, 周。 Okay, next one. 深深深 very good 深 okay next 呲呲 good 呲 okay next 冲冲冲很好啊，都对啊，对的。冲 this one 啊。Next， 夫 it should be 夫 right 夫啊夫 OK next one 高很好啊，高都对啊，高凹。好，下一个周对，这个是周 this one 周 good 啊，周。好 ，next one 金Which one? I saw two different answers, three different answers. 金 it should be this one. 金 if it's 鹰 I will read 金 this is 鹰but I read 金好，下一个仙很好，应该是烟烟 not 鸭if it's 鸭 I will read 虾 it's 虾but I read 仙 it should be 烟 okay last one 筐很好 very good 筐好 very good 这个是声母this is 声母 okay they are 韵母sorry so next please write the 声母 you hear here I will read a pinyin please write the 声母 you hear okay are you ready first one 把very good it's much easier 把 okay next 婆 good next 啧啧 yes next one 睡this 睡 next 皱 perfect 皱 next 此 good next 绿很好绿都对 next 分 very good next 扛 很好，非常好啊。扛 ，next， 虎，虎 ，very good。next， 女，女 ，good。好，下一个，散，散，好 ，good。next， 冲，冲，吃啊，冲，冲 ，yes， should be 吃。next， 行，行。行 ，good。next one， 尊，尊，尊，滋啊，尊，尊，滋 ，this one， 滋啊，尊 ，not 知啊，知 should be 尊 ，but now it's 滋，尊，尊。Okay, next one. 摸，摸 ，very good. 摸 ，next. 敲，so many different answers. 敲，敲 ，which one? 敲。七，敲，敲 ，it should be this 七 is right 啊。c cannot be combined together with 腰啊 ，so it should be 七，敲，敲啊。next one， 乳，乳。乳，very good， 乳，日 ，next， 胜，胜，胜，good， 诗啊 ，last one， 琴，琴，琴，琴。琴 ，yes, it should be 七啊 ，very good， 七琴，琴 ，OK, how about it? Is it not too difficult, right? So then we do a challenging exercise. I will read a sentence. Please fill in the missing 拼音. Okay, let's look at the first one. I will read it. You can type the missing one. For example, first one. 好久不见。好久不见，好久不见。very good. It means a long time no see. 好久不见。Okay, next one. 请问一下，请问一下。非常好啊，很好。一下一下啊 ，not 腰压啊下。This one， 请问一下。Okay, next， 早上好。we have learned it 好 ，right？ 早上好 ，this。Okay, last one, once again 啊，再来一次，再来一次。very good， 来啊，再来一次。Okay, everyone learned very well. We reviewed the pinyin we learned last time. Now let me check the new words. The new words. Okay, please find the correct pinyin. For example, the A. You can type the letters. The first one should be 谢谢, right? You can type this. You can type it like this. 谢谢, 谢谢. Okay. Next one. B should be very good. BF right. 您好，您好。Next C. It should be very good. E. 再见，再见。Okay. D. Next. 很好。B. 对不起，对不起。Okay. E should be which one? Yes. A 没关系，没关系。Okay. Next one. The last one should be yes. 不客气，不客气。Okay. Let's look at this one. Now there is a capital cloud. Here is a word cloud. Can you find the new words or phrases we learned from the word cloud? I will give you 2 minutes. We can see who finds the most words. Let's have a try. You can type in pinyin or 汉字the words or phrases. Not only one 汉字, the words or phrases. For example, like we can find this one, 你好, right? Here is 你 and 好, 你好, like this. Find words or characters, words or phrases. Let's try more. The words. Like 再见 and good 对不起对不起 and some other characters, some other words. 对不起，对不起，再见，你好 and there are more words. Very good. 不屑，很好，不屑，不屑 very good. 不屑，对不起，你好 and 再见再见，谢 just one 汉字Find a word or phrases. 好 let's see together this one. 你好，你好 we can find it. 你好 and 再见，再见 right? Can you find it? 再见再见再见，谢谢 right? 谢谢 it's very obvious 谢谢在这儿对不起，对不起对不起 right? 对不起，不客气 Did you find it? 不客气不客在这儿不客气，不客气 and the last one 不屑不屑 Okay, these are words we learned last time. 不对very good. 不对，不对也可以不对，不对 means not right, not correct. Okay, so here let's look at this. Now I split the Chinese characters into many parts. Can you see what new words or phrases this is? What is 这是什么 Can you find? It's a phrase. It's a phrase. 这是什么 What's this? 这是 Yes, very good. 不屑，不屑 Good. Okay. Let's get this one. 这是 What's this? 这是什么Good. 再见再见再见What's this? It's longer very good， 很好啊，很好，不客气啊 ，very good， 不客气，不客气啊。好 ，OK 啊，歌叫 We have finished the lesson 2, and now we will start to study lesson 3. Let's learn some pinyin knowledge first. Look at this, 不 I mentioned in last class, 不 when we read it alone, it's fourth tongue. 不 when used alone or followed by a syllable in the first, second, or third tongue, its tongue doesn't change. 不吃不行不好不喝不能 See, 不吃吃 first tongue, 不行行 second tongue, 不好好 third tongue. So when we put it before first tongue, second, third tongue, we should read fourth tongue. 不 While when 不 is followed by a syllable in the fourth tongue, it will be changed into the second tongue. 不是不会不看here 是会看 they are fourth tongue. So 不 will be changed into the second tongue. 不是不会 and 不看。好 this is the tongue of 不。Let's have a try. This one. 不 should be which tongue? The fourth tongue or the second tongue? 好意思，好 is the third tongue, right? So in this case, which one? Let's look at this. If we use it before the first, second, and the third tongue, it should be the fourth tongue, right? So here, 好 is third tongue, right? So we should read fourth tongue. 不好意思，不好意思 it means excuse me. 不好意思 Okay, this one. 我累，累 is fourth tongue. So, yeah, very good. 我不累，我不累 it means I'm not tired. 我不累 Okay, this one. yes, 会 is fourth tongue. So here we should read the second tongue. 我不会读 I cannot read. 我不会读我不会读 I cannot read. Okay, this is the tongue of 不 Let's look at this one. When 鸡七西 when yu or a final beginning with yu follows 鸡七西, the two dots on the top of yu should be removed. We should say goodbye to these two dots because u cannot be used after 鸡七西. So in this case, we can omit these two dots after 鸡七西. Like this. 居区虚 Here, it's not u, this is yu, not u. Be careful. N and l, they can also be used together with yu. But when n and l used together with yu, these two dots cannot be omitted. Because n and l, they can also be used together with u, like this one. Nu and lu. So be careful. When we use ji, qi, xi with yu, these two dots should be omitted. But when we use yu together with n and l, these two dots cannot be omitted. Here are some finals headed by yu. Look at this. Let's read them together. 居居取取徐徐 Here 约约绝 绝，缺，缺，学，学，晕，晕，均，均，群，群，训，训，冤，卷，卷，全，全，宣，宣. Okay, these are pinyin knowledge we learned today. Now we will focus on grammars and new words. Let's look at this word. 我, 我. We have learned how to say 你, you, it's singular. 你. But if it's plural, we should say 你们, 你们. So how to say we, us? How to say we, us? Yes, it should be 我们, 我们, 我们. Let's look at this. 名字, 名字. 名字, it means name. So Chinese name, we can say 中文名字, 中文名字. It means Chinese name. Do you have a Chinese name? 中文名字. So now let's learn some knowledge about Chinese name. Here I give you a typical Chinese name. 李月, 李月. In this Chinese name, 李 is a family name. 月 is a given name. In China, the family name must be placed in front of the given name. Most family names have only one Chinese character, and some have two or more Chinese characters. For example, Wang, Zhang, Liu, Chen. They are very common family names. In China, there are more people with father's family names. The given name are generally one or two Chinese characters, but now the names of three Chinese characters have become popular. The name contains the parents' expectation of their children. Here are some knowledge about Chinese name. Let's look at this one. So when we want to introduce ourselves or introduce others, we will use a verb, 叫. 叫. 叫 means to call or to be called. For example, let's look at this sentence. 我叫李月. 我叫李月. After 叫, you can use your name or your friend's name. So we can use this sentence to introduce yourself. Like 我叫 something. Do you have Chinese name? If you have Chinese name, you can type this sentence in this chat box. 我叫 your name. 好, let's look at next. Let's look at this sentence. Very good. 我叫 it's your name. 洛毅是吗？我叫米多。我叫yes 洛毅好。Let's look at this sentence. 我叫李月。我叫李月。李月 this sentence. 我 is subject. 叫 is a verb. 李月 is object. According to this sentence, we can find Chinese sentence, its order should be subject, verb, and object. This order may be mostly same with English. Like this one. 你叫 David. 你 is subject. 叫 is a verb. David is object. You all have Chinese name. 你们好。Let's look at next word. 什么？什么？什么 is a question word. We use 什么 to ask what. Let's look at this sentence. It's a question. 你叫什么名字？你叫什么名字？In English, it means what's your name? What's your name? Let's compare these two sentences. We can find in English, if we want to ask one's name, we should put what at the head of a sentence. But in Chinese, we don't need to change the order of the sentence. We just need to use question word, put it at the place of object. 你叫什么名字? And how to answer this question? 你叫什么名字? How to answer it? For example, we can say 我叫李月. 我叫李月. 李月 we can just use a name to replace the question word. 好, you ask my Chinese name. 我叫 I can type it. 我叫王子秋. Like this. 你叫什么名字? 我叫王子秋. 王子秋 is my Chinese name. Okay, this is text 1. Let's read it after the radio.
你叫什么名字？
我叫李月。
Okay, once again.
你叫什么名字？
我叫李月。
好, this is 叫 and 什么. Very good. 好, let's do a practice. Let's answer the question according to the picture. Like A, 你叫什么名字? 你叫什么名字? How to answer it? You can use your name to answer this question. 你叫什么名字? 我叫王杰. Very good. 我叫 You can use your Chinese name to ask this. 我叫米多. Very good. 我叫李廷. Good. 我叫 Sam. Sam, do you have Chinese name? 我叫大卫 or 大卫. Which tongue? Okay, very good. Let's look at next. For example, 我叫张豪. 我叫张豪. Next, this long conversation. Do you know how to complete this conversation? A says 你好, so B should say. According to the picture, we can find this man may be elder than the woman, like a boss or someone, right? So in this case, we can use yes, very good. 您好. 您好 is better. And then B says 我叫李月. So maybe A is a question. So in this case, A should say very good. 你叫什么名字? 很好. Like this. 你好, 您好. 你叫什么名字? 我叫李月. 我叫李月. Very good. 好, let's look at this picture. I think many students are sitting in front of the computer like this picture, listening to my class. The way to call the teacher, we should say 老师. 老师. 老师 means teacher. So student. 学生. 学生. It's student. 学生. To call the teacher, we can use the teacher's surname. Then use 老师 after his surname. For example, like 王老师, 王老师, or 李老师, 李老师. Very good. 您是我的老师. It's a good sentence. 好, let's look at this one. 是. 是 is today's grammar. It means to be. It's a very basic sentence in Chinese. 我是老师. 我是老师. In this sentence, 我 is subject. 是 is a verb. 老师 is object. 我是老师. How we can also use this structure to make more sentences. Like 你是学生. 你是学生. subject, verb, and object. This is the basic structure of Chinese sentence. Let's look at this one. 是 means to be. So here, 不是 what's the meaning? 不是 不是 it means 不 we learned it means no, not. So 不是 it means not to be, right? So we can put 不 before verb or adjective to give a negative form. Like this, 我是老师. So the negative form should be 我不是老师. 我不是老师. 我是学生. So the negative form should be 我不是学生. 我不是学生. These two sentences, they are negative form. Negative form. Okay, let's do a practice. Before the practice, I give you a new word. 这 means this. 这 What's this? Do you remember? What's this? Good. 鸡蛋. So how to make a sentence? Yes, very good. 这是鸡蛋. 这是鸡蛋. So how to give a negative form? Change the sentence into a negative form. Can you have a try? 这是鸡蛋. So now we want to change it into a negative form. We should put 不 before the verb. Very good. 这不是鸡蛋. 这不是鸡蛋. This one? What's this? 这是什么? Remember? 熊猫. 熊猫. So let's make a sentence. 这 how to say? 这 Yes, very good. 这是熊猫. 这是熊猫. Give a negative form. Change it into a negative form. How to say? Very good. 这不是熊猫. 这不是熊猫. Okay. So if it's the first time I say 熊猫, I don't know what's this and what's this. So in this case, I want to ask you how to say. I don't know what's this. Yes, very good. We can use a sentence. 这是什么? Very good. 这是什么? So answer it. We can say 熊猫. We use 熊猫 to replace 什么. So according to this question and sentence, we can find in Chinese, if we want to change a sentence into a question, we don't need to change the order. We should choose the right question word. 这是什么? 这是熊猫. 好, now let's summarize the usage of 是 and 什么. We use subject, 是 and object. This is the basic structure of Chinese. If we want to give a negative form, we can use 不是. If we want to ask what, we can say 这是什么? 这是什么? 什么 we can also use to ask one's name. 你叫什么名字? 你叫什么名字? 好，我们看这个，你是学生，你是学生吗？你是学生吗? Here in this case, I add ma at the end of a sentence, right? So ma used at the end of a sentence to ask yes or no, to give yes or no is a question. We can change a affirmative sentence into a question. If the answer is yes, how to say? 你是学生吗? So answer it. The answer is yes. We can say 我是学生. If the answer is no, 你是学生吗? No. So we should say 我不是学生. Very good. 我不是学生. Now here, so we use ma at the end of a sentence to ask yes or no. Let's look at. We have two answers. We can say yes or no. No, we should use 不, put it before the verb 是. 我不是学生. Okay, let's look at the text. First, let's read it after the radio.
你是中国人吗？我不是中国人，我是美国人。
你是老师吗？
我不是老师，我是学生。
OK， 我们再来一次啊 ，once again， 再来一次。
你是老师吗？
我不是老师，我是学生。
OK， let's look at next word。这是中国，中国 ，right？We all know this word 啊，中国。This one， 美国，美国 ，the United States of America， 美国。Do you know him？ 姚明 ，Do you know him？ 啊，姚明 is a basketball player, very famous. So we can say 姚明是中国人，姚明是中国人。Do you know him？ Bill Gates。好，姚明是中国人。So how to say this? Can you make a sentence? Bill Gates 是 how to say? 怎么说？We can say Bill Gates 是美国人。Very good. Bill Gates 是美国人。So 人 it means human person 啊，中国人，美国人。So we can use a country's name before 人 to introduce yourself, to introduce your nationality. 我是中国人。So do you know how to say your country's name in Chinese? For example, 我是法国人。Very good, French. Philippines, 菲律宾啊，菲律宾 Philippines 啊，伊朗人。Very good. 我是黑山 I think. 我是尼泊尔人啊。Very good. We have so many different country students. 啊，菲律宾啊，this one 啊，菲律宾。Okay, we can use a country's name before 人 to introduce your nationality. Okay, let's read the last 课文啊 the last text.
你是中国人吗？我不是中国人，我是美国人。
OK， 再来一次啊 ，once again。
你是中国人吗？我不是中国人，我是美国人。
好 ，very good 啊，这是今天的These are words we learned today 啊。Now please read after me. 叫什么名字我是老师吗be careful 吗 is a neutral tone 吗学生人中国美国 Okay, now let's read without pinyin. Can you have a try? 叫什么名字我是老师吗学生人中国美 美国 Very good. Okay. Have you learned what, do you have any questions about today's class? Okay, let's have a try. Let's do some practice. But first, let's choose the right words. I will give you 2 minutes. Try to fill in the blanks. You can just type A, B, C, D, E in the chat box. For example, like the first one, 你叫什么名字? Now it's D. Okay, let's do it. Okay, the first one, yes, 我是中国人。sorry, 我不是中国人啊。C, 我不是中国人。Okay, next one, 您是老师 Yes, it's a question. 您是老师吗 Next, 他叫 Good. 他叫什么？他叫什么？ We can also use 他叫什么 to ask one's name. 他叫什么 Okay, next one. 李月 The last one. 李月中国人，他是老师 Yes, we should choose B. 李月是中国人，他是老师啊 Okay, next. Okay, the first one. 大卫 David, 大卫不是老师，他是 We should choose G 他是学生。Next one. Good. 老师谢谢您老师谢谢您。Okay, next. 我不是中国人，我是 Very good. 我是美国人。Okay, last one. 你们好，你们是Very good. H 很好。你们是中国学生吗？中国学生中国人 Chinese people 中国学生 Chinese students 你们是中国学生吗？好 Let's look at this picture. In this practice, I will show you a picture and a sentence. Please judge if this sentence is describing the picture correctly. Like the first picture, 我是老师 This sentence is right. You can tell me 对 or 错it's true or false. Next one. Yeah, 我是中国学生according to the picture, maybe she is not a Chinese student. 错不是中国学生我不是中国学生。Next, let's look at this picture. What are they doing? Are they greeting with each other or? Yes, 这是错的it's wrong 你好，我叫 Jessica. It's not describing the picture. Okay, this one. 这不是鸡蛋对的，这不是鸡蛋。这是什么？这是什么 ？Can you answer me？ 这是什么？这不是鸡蛋Very good. 这是床，这是床Good. 好 This is the last practice. Let's put the words into a sentence. I split the sentence into different parts. Can you tell me the right order of this? For example, like the first one, 什么你叫名字 You can type 汉字 You can also type the numbers It's 你叫什么名字Very good. 你叫什么名字好 Let's do it. This one Very easy很好。我是老师Very good. 我是老师。Okay, this one. 很好。我不是学生，我不是学生啊。It's a negative sentence. Okay, this one. well done 啊，很好 ，very good。我叫李月啊，李月 is a Chinese name， 中文名字。我叫李月。好 ，this one。对的啊。你是老师吗？你是老师吗？啊 ，if we see ma in a sentence, we can find that it's a question. Ma should be put at the end of a sentence. 你是老师吗？你是老师吗？很好 ，very good。你是中国人吗？你是中国人吗？啊，我要讲 very good 啊。好，this put words into a sentence. Next, according to the picture, can you answer the question? 这是熊猫吗？这是熊猫吗 ？In this conversation, B should say. 对，很好，这不是熊猫啊，这不是熊猫。This one. What should A say? 这是鸡蛋 ，so A should say. It's a question. 这是鸡蛋吗？It's also right. It's also right. We have two ways. 这是什么？这是鸡蛋。这是鸡蛋吗？这是鸡蛋啊。Both are right 啊。You can also say 这是什么？这是鸡蛋啊。Both are right. 好，today we learned some new knowledge about the pinyin and we learned new grammars 是什么 and some new words. We learned so much today and we do so many practice. Do you have any questions about today's class? Next week we will review this lesson and we will study new knowledge about pinyin and some new grammars 谁哪的 and 呢。Okay, now you can ask me questions in the chat box. 什么 means what? 谁 means maybe 谁 means who. 好，再见，谢谢你们。Do you have any questions? 谢谢你们。对，什么是 what？ 谁是 who？ 谁next week we will learn 谁。Can we use 我是法美 I say 我叫法美。Both sentences are right. 我是法美 is right. 我叫法美 is also right. Both are right. 好，再见。Actually, if you mean who, 谁 and 谁 both are right. Different Chinese people will use different pronunciation. To me, I will say 谁. Maybe someone else will say 谁. Actually, both pinyin are right. It's hard to say. It depends. 谢谢你们。谢谢你们。Do you have any other questions? 不客气。 我是你是再见再见。我是 I am。Yes, watch more Chinese series. Maybe it's useful to learn Chinese. It's really helpful. 我叫。Yes, we will learn some 汉字, but 汉字, I think if you want to learn 汉字, well, I think the best way is to practice. Like you can copy the new words we learned today. Follow the order, the strokes. Yes, historic series has some different words, and even the grammars sometimes are different. You can try to see some modern Chinese TV series, but if you are interested, historical series are also very good. My name is, you can say 我的名字是 or you can also say 我叫。Okay, do you have any other questions? « 好，再见。See you next week. 再见。下周见。See you next week. Okay, if you don't have any other questions, so 再见。See you next week. 再见。好，再见。See you next week. 下周见。